I'm saying? If you ready, if you, yeah, whatever, yeah. Yo, what's up? You're now tapping into the Race DTX podcast. Shout out to my boy Molly Mall back home at the crib. You know what I'm saying? I'm on this road, for a few episodes. This is episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Season 2. We wrapping up out here in DC. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple of my really close homies come out here, and we checked out the March on Washington. Man, I was so close to this man out Sharpton. I could have slapped this perm off his head, man. That was crazy. Like it made so much of this trip worth it, just seeing somebody like him, But tapping in today is I got my family, you know what I'm saying? Brandon Harris on the track, and another family member, you know what I'm saying? Travis Dioniso, Travito, Refined Rebellion, tapping in. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing, man?
I'm good today. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, family. I'm doing
Surviving.
all right.
It's been a long weekend.
It has, man. We survived, and we didn't overdo it like how we usually do. Like I'm usually in a coma at least about 25 to 30% of the trip, just because. But yeah, I think we did it right, and we kept it together. Shout out to Starbucks. They still ain't sponsored us yet, but we went and tapped in with them. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it, man. This is the Race DTX podcast, and y'all know what we about. We had a beautiful season, inaugural season last year sometime, and you know what this is about. It's about me bringing my friends on here. It's a collective, you know what I'm saying, of just dope energy, and just with everything going on, the climate, you know what I'm saying. We're currently in a pandemic right now, as well as just a major Black Lives movement, like going on, because they out here, they really out here eliminating black men like ourselves. So just with the inference and everything about this with my podcast, I'm just trying to develop, cultivate, and keep the movement going, just as far as my people, and letting them know that there are other things out here that we can be doing, other things that we can be seeing, and that's just what a little bit of everything that encompasses this podcast. But that's just a quick debrief, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
what'd you learn in your first season? What are some takeaways?
Some takeaways, huh?
First
Yeah. With the first season, I must say, I really just had no expectations for anything. Really, it was just kind of getting it off the ground and just getting some folks in there and just kind of getting with me. You know what I'm saying? And just showing different light. I guess a major takeaway that I'd probably say is I'm definitely, a people person. I got a lot of friends, a lot of different areas, not only in the world, but just, different spaces as far as their professions and stuff is concerned. And we were able to highlight, a plethora of that just in the first season. I didn't get everybody, in the mix on the first season like I had wanted to, but hey, we in season 2, and then there's gonna be season 3, and we just gonna keep the movement going, and also with some of that, we gonna do some highlights on what a lot of, the cats from different seasons have been up to, like some keeping up with them type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the first season, man, it was just beautiful, it was real beautiful. And yeah, man, y'all excuse me, if I'm sounding a little tired, man. We've been doing this since Tuesday, Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? I shot to Philly, got up with one of my brothers out there, for episode 2. Shout out him, Raheem the Dream of the Weekender Travels, you know what I mean? And then slid here to DC, was all over this thing. So
It was hot. We did a lot of walking.
Yeah, it was extremely hot. Yeah, it was extremely
shout out
hot.
to the folks that put that on, man. I think they did a good job. I think obviously there could have been beverages closer to the front, but the fact that they had all the free water, Powerade, making sure folks stay hydrated. I damn near died at one point, but
yeah,
shout out to the folks for putting it on, man. They definitely have breaks in there where they ensure that everyone's being socially distanced, or at least trying to remind people, hey, make sure you're keeping sanitizing stations and stuff all around. So man, shout out to them folks for keeping that going, man. It was definitely needed, even through pandemic. Obviously with with Jacob Blake, you know, it's a very, very timely discussion. So to hear the folks, you could really hear the passion in everyone's voice, man. And it was good to see the difference in personality of a lot of speakers, man. You got like, I remember old boy came on there with the dreads, just like, yo, they said I got 2 minutes, I'm about to go in.
Hey, LA hit me up. He was like, man, was that Brother Maddox up here speaking?
Bruh, he said I got 2
Straight
minutes,
raw.
I'm gonna go in. Yeah, and then you had some brothers that were a little more, you know, taking more like the MLK approach. So it was a little Stokely Carmichael in there, a little MLK. So it was cool to see the different personalities and speakers, things like that.
Yeah. So with this episode, you know, it's just kind of a debrief of the trip and everything we kind of went through this weekend, and seeing, you know, just the presence and the power of just Black people and what we're trying to stand on, and what we're trying to see changed about what's going on with us. And I know we all, you know, in our different light, as far as, you know, not only being, you know, fathers and things like that, but also as professional men, you know. And I don't know, I was overcome with joy and just so much emotion just with this whole trip, man. It was beautiful, you know what I'm saying? So what a way to kind of kick this season off, like, you know. So Thursday, I think we touched down, we got here, you know, slid into the B&B, which shout out to that, because I think we had like 3 or 4 cancel on us. Like, to get a spot in the city, you know what I'm saying, or just around anything or any type of love out here was extremely hard. I'm not sure how many people came into the city or into the district this weekend, but I'd have to say it was close to it had to be over 1 million extra people who just slid here, you know what I'm saying, for the events and everything. And if some of you out there aren't familiar what's going on right now with the movement and things like that, you know, just turn on your TV, turn on the news, you know what I'm saying, Black men are being out here. We're a demonstration for a lot of folks, you know what I'm saying, and we are all of it is honestly just a testament to our power and what we hold, and how I guess, you know what I'm saying, how feared we are in here, you know, and it don't really even come from a crazy, you know, place. We're not animals, you know what I'm saying. I think I'm loved by a lot of people and stuff like that, but I just think, you know, our presence in some ways just kind of, you know, it scares people. Because I know we was out here this weekend, and DC is Chocolate City. It's a lot of Black love out here, but we were in Georgetown when, shout out to Avery, my young boy, my little brother, you know what I mean? Shout out to him. He's at Georgetown Med, and he's in his first year. And when we slid into the spot in Georgetown, I mean, it was kind of like heads had turned, because that was kind of, I guess that's their space a bit, you know what I mean? So we went to a little bar, and it was just kind of like, you know, you were definitely getting those looks like, where are you guys coming from? And we kind of slid in late too, because with the pandemic going on, there's a lot of things that are closing early, like after about 12 a.m. if you ain't got your food, if you don't know where you're at, like, it's kind of turned off, you know, down here, you know what I'm saying? But just going back into that a little bit is just, you know, you can kind of see the fear in a lot of people, with our general presence sometimes. Most definitely with the march and, you know, the speech and everything in the mall over there. It was right in front of Lincoln Memorial, you know, where they were doing a lot of the speaking and stuff, the prequel to the march and things like that. This is, man, it's just been amazing. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm doing a bit of rambling right now, but I'm just kind of trying to filter everything through my brain, because I'm still kind of taking it all in right now, you know? Yeah. And yeah, man, this has just been dope as heck, man. Y'all, like, as far as like y'all experiences, Brandon and Trav, like what did this mean to y'all?
I mean, overall, like I said, it was beautiful. You know what I mean? Being able to say that I was here, and take back these experiences and share them with my kids, and, you know, just being a part of history, you know. And I
mean, shout out to the Dub, shout out to Wichita, fam. You still in the Dub, like what does it mean for you to kind of be traveling? Because we've been in a couple places this summer and things like that, and this has kind of been like the crown jewel to everything that we've been doing, you know.
It's been putting things into a better perspective for me. I mean, getting out and seeing, you know, different places, and, you know what I mean, different environments, and, you know, and then going back home, you know what I mean? There's so much more out here,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
than what's at home. So, I mean, definitely it feels good to be able to get out and,
yeah.
you know, do different things.
Man, fam been singing, like my fam, he sings, man, he's got vocals. Fam been singing since we picked you up from the airport. Like, it's like he's in a whole different.
Man. I'm just happy. You know, I'm happy to be here, man.
Most definitely. But yeah, just what I was really trying to touch on a bit is just, you know what I'm saying, us as black men, you know, we're not scary. A lot of us are very approachable, especially my friends and things like that. We're not out here to get revenge on what was 400 years of, you know, desperation and just frustration and just, you know, just pure disrespect, you know what I mean? To so many degrees, and we don't really just got to touch on that too much, but we just want to let you know that, you know, especially with my friends and things like that, we're just all out here as pillars of great men. You know, I was also, me and a family, we were involved with a photo shoot as well that I'm sure is gonna go viral. Shout out to Neandre, you know, out of Dallas, Texas, and the Black Menswear movement. That was something that was extremely powerful, and we'll touch on that a little bit more, you know, later on in the show. But we were all over the place this weekend. This morning we just happened to, you know, catch a few of the last bit of monuments because this is, you know, my relatives' first time out here. So yeah, man. But just as far as like the debrief and everything, we knew we had to kind of get out there early. You know, the march and everything was on Friday. A lot of people are kind of, you know, were back and forth with me a little bit. Are you sure it's on, you know, not on Saturday, it's on Friday? Like, how are a lot of people getting out of work or whatever it is? I know here within the city or in the DMV, I know a lot of people were able to kind of get off of work and attend and all of that. And yeah, like, what did a lot of, you know, all of that like mean to y'all? Like, what was the situation from, you know, the heat? We were having to sit in the grass, and we finessed major. Like, I don't think we got, because you had to have like at least bare minimum a green wristband, I think, to really do anything. We were almost on like the stage. So
no, I think from my perspective, the thing that I enjoyed seeing the most was, you know, a lot of the older folks that came out. It was hot as hell, you know, probably over 100 degrees. But
oh man, shout out to
a lot of the folks had been out there, and I passed them. You know, we got there at like 9:30 and passed them again. We were there at 1. So, you know, folks slumped over in their, you know, over their seat, but still cared enough to be out there. And I saw a few of them had, you know, shirts and stuff like that. Like, hey, I was here, you know, during the first one, and I'm here now. You know, so it's crazy to see people, you know, fighting the same battle.
There was a Noop out there. Did you see the picture? There was a Noop, I guess, who had his sign in '63, and he had his sign also from '63 out there in like 2002.
Yeah, that's dope.
Shout out to the Noops.
That's dope. Man. Yeah, so have my camera, so you know that always gives me a different feel when I go to events, because I'm just like looking to capture these different moments. Definitely got some dope pics from there. So for me, that's it's great. It's great in multiple ways, but the biggest thing is like I'm able to tie in like creativity and enjoy the event through my lens.
Yeah.
And again, I think the other highlight was the speakers, right? They had like 400 speakers. But a lot of them are good. Man. Yeah, a lot of them are good, man. Like, again, you could really hear the passion. I think at the end there, they started, maybe they were off schedule a little bit. They were trying to get to Al's piece, but they were cutting people's times. And I think because of that, you know, folks, instead of doing whatever they rehearsed, were just kind of going in like, hey, I don't have much time here, so let me just, you know, I'm just go from the
What were some of the things that they were like kind of saying? I know I was in and out of like just being able to pay attention, because when it gets hot or if I'm uncomfortable, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the most bourgeois of, you know, no peoples or nothing like that, but when the heat starts striking, I'm, you know, sweating and I'm looking for water, and I didn't think they had any out there, and then it was a whole social distancing thing and the masks and all of that stuff, which I'm not against any of that stuff, you know. But it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm getting frustrated with where I'm sitting, and to top it all off, like we had like some of the most ideal seats and like placement in the whole spot. Like if any of y'all, you know, follow me on Instagram or anything, like y'all seen, I was like right there next to Al Sharpton, which my cousin, you know what I'm saying, he spotted him, like, and we were about to leave because we had been there since like about 8 o'clock. which we seen Al pulling in at, what was that, 12:45, 1 o'clock?
Yep.
So we're about to leave after being kicked out of, or not kicked out of, but there was capacity on the Lincoln Memorial, which you had to have a press badge. We didn't have any of that.
Nothing.
We were like just kind of playing it by ear once we had went under and was about to hop on the elevator. As soon as we had like kind of got under there, about standing in line for about 5 to 10 minutes, where they were letting, you know, whoever kind of go up, you know,
Yeah.
the elevator and go on the monument and kind of be behind the, you know, the speaker and stuff like that. We kind of got we got X'd out on that, which was kind of funny because we were so close. Like we were almost about to get up there and get to the top and stuff and be right behind the speakers and, you know, holding our fists and signs and all of that. But at that point, I was just kind of like, oh my God, it's so hot. Like Trav had alluded to in the beginning of this, it was so much heat out there, and I do feel like at one point in time somebody told me, I mean, I think the temperature was about 90 plus, but someone had said with the humidity and everything is feeling like 105.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nah, it was no
So
joke. And shout out the dude who was up there the entire time doing sign language for every single speaker.
But was he? But do you think he really had it though? Because I did kind of see him doing the Dougie or something like a few times. Like, you remember when they were like, man, when it was something big recently for somebody.
The
who was
lady
doing,
got
like,
up there and she didn't even know. She didn't even know.
She knew nothing about sign language.
Nah, I think this dude's legit. They seem they were like.
I mean, but I did see him with the Ferragamo scammer belt on, so
I mean, he wore like a tuxedo jacket up there. I don't know, you know,
shout out
he was
to
in his
him,
bag,
man.
whatever. But
yeah, he
truly,
was.
I know it was hot as hell.
He was up there for
yes,
hours.
and he was right up there at the top. There was no shade, but yeah, like going to the speakers, I think. Yeah, again, in and out the same way. But two of the things that they press on at the end, and I still got to do research on what exactly they mean. But there's a vote coming up on the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2020.
They were also talking about like a John Lewis.
There's a John Lewis Voter Rights Act.
Well.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks
so
for that direction.
definitely got to look more into. I mean, it's not in our hands right now, but obviously, you know, we need to get with the wave. But it sounds like those are two biggest things that they're pushing. If we're thinking about like the narrative, it was more look like. We're saying these things about justice. We're saying the same things we've said when, you know, MLK was here. And so a lot of it's like, look, we've got to enact change. We've got to, you know, and I know I've seen a couple people, you know, saying that, and again, I got to look more into what it actually entails, but that the George Floyd Act wasn't doing enough. But it's like, look, we got to start somewhere. But we got to start somewhere though, man. Like I think a lot of it is. You know, do you want to complain or do you want to enact change? Even if it's small steps, you know, even if it's some type of direction and actually making change versus, you know, just tweeting about it, posting.
How many people you guys think was like out there with this? I mean, I've seen kind of comparison pictures and stuff like that. They're definitely over.
They said they were expecting around 100K, somewhere between like 50 and 100K.
I think I heard somebody say about 200, quarter milli, but
just to see those pictures though, you know, from 63. The picture from 63 to, you know, 2020, I mean, it's crazy. And I mean, one thing with that is there's power in numbers. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I mean, if we can all come together, I mean, black, white, you know what I mean, Hispanic, you know, Asian. I mean, if everybody can get together and, you know what I mean, be on the same page, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we have a fight, you know what I mean? And
we definitely have a fair fight as well.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of people are starting to really kind of hear us and really see it though. You know what I'm saying? As far as what we're going through, you know, with the mass incarceration, you know what I'm saying? Numbers don't lie, man. You know, statistics and things can be skewed and things like that. But like when you're looking at us as a population of, don't necessarily quote me, I ain't got no diction on this just right now, but when you're seeing that we only make up about maybe 10-15% of the United States, but we're like 40% of the people that are in jail and stuff like that, that's not how that's supposed to work. You know what I mean? And I do understand a lot of people are oblivious, you know, not necessarily our skin tone to what's going on with us, but you know, we are being redlined, we're being X'd out before we even get to the starting line, you know, and it's ridiculous. My biggest thing here with, you know, the aggravated assaults that the police are perpetuating in our community is there's no way, like, you know, when you get pulled over or anything like that with somebody who's sworn to protect and serve, that we not making it home to our children, or if at that we're being killed in front of our children, or that shit is that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I hear a lot of what we can do and what can be changed, like with the voting and all of that. But what I hear right now that makes me smile on the inside a bit is, it's the system and the way y'all designed it. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing that spoken over and over and over again this weekend. It's always like, hey, you could do this, or could you could keep your hands up, or you could not do this or that. Like, no, at the end of the day, like, police officers are not supposed to be out here killing people.
Right.
And I mean, I don't want to make it a gun thing. I don't want to make it anything than exactly what it is. It's the system and the game and how it's being played and worked out for people of our degree and pedigree. So
yeah, it's a racist system. I think that's one of my challenges, man, because I have quite a few family members that are cops.
yeah, shout out to Texas.
Yeah, I gotta,
San Antonio.
and I know that they got into it for the right reasons. And the difference is they are policing in places they're from. So a lot of times when they go, they know these folks, right? And they can, they can speak their language.
And that's
So
very rare, actually.
yeah, that's honestly how the system should be in some way, right? Like, you have this person who has never been around minorities and all his life, and now he's going in with some narrative that he's created himself over the years.
And then a lot of the times it's like people looking for that what they were lacking in high school, or just in general life. They're wanting to control things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be like you're gonna do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Because then I think that kind of gets into the point that a lot of people are making. I don't want to just super get behind it right now, but the whole defund the police, like, the police aren't getting better. So if we're raising what is it in Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying,
a couple billion,
they're looking at $6 billion bottom line, you know what I'm saying, where we're losing money in education. That severely implodes the problem, makes it bigger and bigger. We're not having kids who are educated, you know what I'm saying, they're coming out here and just in need of survival, and that's when it just becomes what it is. And then police have to be harsher and more brutal, and then they need their their $100,000 squad cars, or their artillery or arsenals, and it just gets ridiculous. You know what I mean? But just for this trip, like, everything with the speakers, as well as our timeline with everything, I just felt like it was so perfect. I had planned a lot of things out, not necessarily to the T, but I had planned out just so many events and things like back to back. Me and Trav having to get down from Philly, the night before, just kind of make sure that we're here. Brandon flying in, I'm trying to make sure everybody is just on point and gonna have a great time. So we got out there at about 8 because we were trying to be ahead of what is usually our CP time. And Brandon and Trav, y'all know me, like, I'm the last to get ready. Like, I'm ready. What, an hour and a half after we're saying we're gonna be somewhere.
On your time.
Yeah, my time. So we had really made a what would I say, a pact the night before. Hey, we're in that thing at 7:30, but we were out till 3 in the morning. But we said we were gonna do that, and we were gonna get out there, and we weren't really thinking about what the event was exactly, our people and everything. But we got out there, and we were out there at about 8 o'clock. The lines were crazy long. I'm talking about 400 and 500 people easily, probably over 1,000. When we walked up, got out of our car or our Uber or whatever, we were just like, all right, we're making a good time. We're seeing a lot of people though, but we're doing pretty good on time. You know what I mean? And the lines were crazy long. And Trav, I gave you that look, like when we always have that look, and it's like, so we cutting along? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's the slide? You was already in your head, like, we just gonna follow.
Right.
And we were just walking by the line, and usually you'll have a person or two like, well, hey, wait a minute, where y'all going?
Said a word.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody really said a word, and we were just able to slide in. We're kind of seeing people with green wristbands, and we're like, where do you get those at? And they're like, way up here, and then we're just seeing opportunities to be able to move and get to the front.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we held it down as long as we could. We what we should have done is, you know, woken up, probably went and got a brunch or something, some type of meal. We didn't do none of that. So like we didn't really plan. I don't know, we were ambitious, you know what I'm saying? Boys was excited just to get out there in general. So we definitely could have planned better. I think we held on as long as we could. No meal, you know,
Nothing.
a little water.
Limited water,
Yeah,
barely
just-
water.
We found the water on the way out. You know?
Yeah, we found water in the wristbands on the way out. It was
boys,
crazy.
yeah, boys
I'm
did as long
hitting
as they
people
could.
up and they're hitting me like, oh, I'm still at the crib. So, you know, those are like indicators like, wait a minute, I'm usually sending you these texts.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is looking like? Who all out there? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I would have liked to have heard Jacob Blake's pop and Al Sharpton speak, because by that time we were in whatever little restaurant, and like you could kind of see.
we were watching CNN. at that
Yeah,
time,
and they had
like
like the prompts and stuff up, but couldn't really catch what he was saying. But yeah, man, we made it as long as we could, honestly.
We sure did,
Yeah.
man. But so what happened? We were there at like 8, and then they just had when I knew, I was like, oh man, like that we had kind of came too early. The first indicator to me was when I heard the church music playing. I was like, oh no, man, they ain't got me coming to church on Friday. It was, you know, playing the organ in the background. Shout out to church, you know what I'm saying? I got a very good relationship with
Shout out to
man
God.
upstairs and my faith and everything. But just, oh man, I was that kid when grandma trying to wake you up, man. She's whooping me out the bed to get to Sunday school.
Yeah.
So when I heard those organs and everything start playing, and people speaking, we were definitely privileged because we walked in that mug like VIP and was like on the steps and with the press and all of that. But when I heard that playing, I was like, yeah, we're here maybe a little too early. You know what I'm saying? I started hearing a lot of names that were like just not major names. They all had wonderful and very great and intelligible things to say, you know, just about the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that. But it was just like, and a lot of them were future leaders, you know what I'm saying, of not only DC, but this great nation. And they were all like, you know, blacker people of color, and that was amazing. But yeah, so about 8 to 9, you know, it was just a lot of people talking. I'm still hype about the moment. We're meeting up with a couple of groups and stuff like that. And shout out to, you know, a lot of, I don't know if it had to have been a bunch of people from either Texas or Kansas that I kept seeing.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, Lance, what's up? You know, they're noticing me from behind the mask. And I'm like, yo, I do know you. But not putting names to faces. But we had a cool group for a little bit, 9, 10 o'clock. It was like, yeah, I'm with the movement. I'm with the vibe. By about 11:30, when the sun and everything started to hit, I was getting a little irritated. You know what I'm saying? It just started to seem like, oh man, we're out here. Where's Al Sharpton, man? He done called this, and that's who I'm ready to see and hear speak and stuff like that. And then we've already like canvassed the whole place. Like we know where all the bathrooms is. Where do you slide to kind of go? We couldn't find water necessarily. We had to keep buying like Powerades or getting something like that, but we were able to know and finesse wherever we could like get in and stuff like that, which I'm very grateful for. And something I actually had to like kind of tell myself in my head when I was getting upset with just the heat and not kind of getting what I want. I was like, man, the protesters are out here like day and night, heat and rain, sun or shine, like, you know, they're all out here. You know, this is the movement, you know, and yeah. So
and the folks out there, you know, 57 years ago, doing this in suits.
Oh man,
Like,
man.
we were in shirts and, you know, t-shirts, man. It was out there suited and booted. So and you know, shoe technology wasn't the same.
So what?
So man, them marches was probably hitting way different, man.
What? So
I'm sure
okay.
they had
So
blisters on
getting
their
into like a lot of the questions about all of it, like how did y'all feel about like the people and the vibe, and like I kept on for real. Something I kept hearing kind of play through a lot of people's speeches was I'm not my ancestors. Like don't try Jesus, don't try me. Like that was really what it was like out there. I felt that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was very into the aesthetics of it all, right? Having my camera, just looking for different setups and stuff like that. And I think one thing I noticed is, you know, everyone, you know, took it as an opportunity to express themselves creatively, whether it be with a sign, stuff that they wore. Like saw some crazy shirts, you know, people made their own shirts, just the signs, things like that. So I think aesthetically it was just dope. Like that was a big thing for me. The other thing I appreciated was you know, a lot of non people of color,
Out there with us.
you know, out with little ones, right? So like we're talking about changing things generationally. You know,
Yeah.
I saw a couple folks that had like 4 or 5 little ones with them. You know what I mean? Even if
Yeah.
they're 4 or 5, they're not paying attention. They're there and soaking things up through osmosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I appreciate, man, the diversity of folks, because, you know, it's not necessarily their fight. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I think there's a negative connotation around being liberal in some circles, but I think being liberal is just like giving a damn, right? It's like caring about things you don't have to care about. It's like if you're a white person, you grew up in Georgetown or something, you don't necessarily have to care about the plight of black folks, right? It doesn't mess with your day to day. Exactly. But for those folks that actually took the time and energy and sitting out there, you know, with everybody else sweating their ass off to, you know,
And it was
to
really on
educate
some like
themselves
some of
and the
this
kids.
isn't right. Like
Yeah.
For them just
we're
to
with y'all.
acknowledge that, you know, what we're going through, and, you know, giving us empathy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's major.
I mean, it's crazy, you know what I mean?
It was an extremely beautiful feeling. How did it make you feel, Brandon? Like just being out there and coming from, you know, where we come from, where we're like maybe 1% in our city.
I mean, it was just, it was beautiful, you know what I mean? I keep using that word because that's, you know what I mean, that's what I saw, you know, just everybody coming together and, you know, everybody embracing each other, and we're all there for the same reason, you know what I mean? Everybody, all these people, you look around and we're all there for the same cause.
And
so,
then
you know,
something like kind of what you guys are talking about, when there were certain speakers, you know, who were part of, you know, Hispanic coalition.
Oh, yeah.
I know there was like a lady who came up there.
passionate.
Extremely passionate. She goes up there and she's just like, 25% of my community is Afro-Latino. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's like a big thing, you know, like right now too, where it's kind of like, there's been that segregation within, you know, the Hispanic or Latin communities where it's, you know, they're not recognizing certain things. I know I seen something come up the other day, and I'm not gonna say his name because I actually liked him as an actor, but he's just like, when are the Latinos gonna start getting their, you know, just due or something like that? Because there were so many black people nominated for Emmys, but this guy completely overlooked the fact that there were like 3 or 4 Afro-Latino like people nominated for awards, and it was just like, all right, this is what we're talking about. Like when it's kind of like the segregation between colors, when it's kind of like, yo, we're all one. You know what I'm saying? And something that I very much so hold my hat on is being able to be in these different circles and with different groups of friends, and you know, just coming from Wichita, Kansas, where it enables you to be a beast in a certain way. I know a lot of my friends and family be really afraid to leave because cost of living can be a great deal higher and stuff like that, and especially out here in DC, astronomically higher, you know what I mean? But I feel like in a lot of ways it's worth it because it gives you such a different play on life, and it gives you the ability in a lot of situations to open your eyes to things that you're not seeing every day. When you are born, groomed, and you know, just raised in a certain environment, you're a little less apt to understand, you know, the plight of black people, or you know, the injustices of trans or how do I say it? LGBTQ. My apologies, but yeah, just kind of their situation. You'd see stuff that said like Black Trans Lives Matter and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's that stuff opens your eyes to stuff, because when you are hit with different problems, if you're staying in an environment, if you're staying in the same room all day, if you're staying in that room with the light off and just all of that, you're not going to be able to identify with these things, you know.
You gotta get out of that box and you know, expand your horizons.
Yeah, most definitely.
Every time I, you know, leave home, and you know, I love my city, you know what I mean? But every time
Shout
I
out
leave,
to the Dub,
you know,
Wichita, Kansas, boy.
I just think like, man, you know, I want to get out of there just because there's so many things around here to see. You know, I mean, it's crazy. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Like for real, it's so much to see. But just so with our day, I know I keep going back and forth. So about 10, 11 o'clock, we're in there. It's definitely over probably 200,000 people. You know, just out there, and all this stuff is going on. People rejoicing. Like it was so much different emotions out there. But
had the lady walking
in the
with
water,
her son,
in the water, like just a lady who actually hopped in the what is that called? I know the overall is the National Mall, but there's like the water right in front of.
She walked from one end to the other.
Yeah, and she was happy about it. But essentially, we didn't leave till about 1 or 1:30, but I was done at 11:30. I was done, bro.
Yeah.
I was looking for a spot to hold down. Like when we actually made it under the memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, and they had a little bit of air in there. I thought we could hang for a little bit, but then when they cut the elevator off, I was like, it's time to go. But me and fam, because we kept losing you, because you were getting hella pictures, Trav. Like you did your thing. Like shout out to Travi and Refine Rebellion. Go peep a lot of what he's got going on. He dropped some very dope and vivid pictures, as well as he just had a line drop with Refine Rebellion that is very much so in tune with the movement. You know, shout out to that. But yeah, so I was ready to go. I think we lasted to about 12:30, 12:45. We're coming out, like we actually started to get, like people started to notice, so we didn't have press badges and like all of this stuff. I think Trav had already got kicked out first because he was in there getting plenty of shoots, so we had ended up losing him 2 or 3 times. But about that time, we ended up like walking out. I'm like, man, cuz I'm ready to go, man. Like, what's up? Fam is just like rolling with the flow. He's like, man, fam, I'm whatever you want to do, man. I'm like, man, cuz let's go, man. Like, I'm Al Sharpton ain't here. You know what I'm saying? We didn't just pray like 3 or 4 hymns. Like, there's random people hopping on the mic at this point, which I will reiterate, it was all very beautiful. It was all extremely beautiful, but just when you haven't eaten, you don't have water, like we were refugees at one point. It was just like, I'm with the movement and I'm marching on Washington, but at that point I needed a biscuit. I needed something to eat, not a dry biscuit, but I needed some food. I need some vittles, man. And fam is like, I'm still on like my soapbox a bit. Like, let's get out of here. We're in the front of we're exiting all these things and getting out of off of the steps from the memorial and getting out of there. And fam goes, hey man, fam, there's Al Sharpton. Stop playing, man. Let's go. Fam, there's no Al Sharpton over here, bro. The crowd's not moving. I'm looking. I just put my glass on. There's no Al Sharpton over here. Let's go. And sure enough, man, you said, no, he's right there. And he like comes out of the crowd. Bro, that was like, fam, what I was at a strong 7, like ready to start, like maybe start stiff arming people, like to get up out of there. Cause I think maybe that pandemic, like people were breathing on me, like started to hit me as well.
So wait, what section? Like, where were you actually at when you saw him come up? Is it close?
We were right out. The gates that we had slid through. Right. It was right there.
Oh, you were walking out.
Yeah, we were walking out. So we had hit those gates. We had just hit the gates. Yeah. Brandon's saying that we're kind of trying to look for you, but at the same time we're trying to see our path of how we get out of here because it was so packed. And seeing Al Sharpton, and I think that definitely gave me about another 30, 45 minutes to an hour of just being able to, because I was so hyped.
And I'm glad that we went that way too, because they were trying to shoo us the other way, remember?
Yeah, they
so
were.
We were like, man, let's go through here. We can start out here.
We really were. We were. So we went there, fam said that, turned around. I was like, yo, that's Al Sharpton. I'm getting hyped. People were getting hyped. And then he also walked in like somebody as well. Like it wasn't, I won't say it was like a super crazy strong, brash, bravado laced like walk in or anything like that, but it was like you felt the energy around him. People started to gravitate towards him. It was like a march had kind of started right then and there when he had. But at that time too, it's about 12:30 at that point. We'd have been there since 8. About 7:50 got dropped off, and at that point I was kind of like, yo, if he just came in at 12:30, he's not gonna go on for at least another hour.
Yeah.
No, like I'm mad. No. So I'm putting that together. I get really hype about him. Friends are hitting me up asking me where I am because they're now starting to wake up and be like, okay, we're hearing all Sharpton's there, so it's time to get there. And
but how he walked in though, just
boy, the perm was laid. The
Bro.
perm was laid, man. That wasn't no just for me, man.
Right. Stiff.
He walked in and he had his arms crossed and he just walked in like it was a vibe, man. It was a vibe. I started sending the picture to everybody. I'm right here with Al Sharpton. Fam caught the video and then I caught like a bunch of pictures. Like it was cool. And then there was Breonna Taylor's peoples like right next to him, as well as was it Blake's father that was with him?
I think his sister and his dad. I think that was the
Yeah, there was, and then there were just so many people that were just sprinkled around that mug that were a part of the movement and just great people. So at that point, you know, it had made the day. It had made everything worth it to me. It was just beautiful. And then we started kind of doing our trek to get up out there. Started walking towards the Smithsonian. Shout out the African American Museum. And we just started footing it. And my fam hadn't seen very many of the monuments and things just yet. So the Lincoln Memorial and all of that was the first jump off for us. The mall and then the World War II memorial. We started looking at all of that, and then we're like, yo, let's slide to 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. We gotta check it out. Travis, for any of the times that you've been in DC, like, was there anything just super noticeably different? Because I felt some different vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they had us backed up even further from like the White House than it typically is. I think it makes, I'm sure that was planned out weeks beforehand. I mean, it makes sense, especially with everything going on. Yeah, I mean, I think, tons of vendors set up. I don't know what that road is, that actually has the Black Lives Matter painted, tons of vendors. I don't know, man, it felt very pro-Black, you know what I mean? I think, typically when I've been down here, especially when you get out around there, you're seeing a lot of gentlemen, suits and stuff on, briefcases, just kind of part of the environment. But here we're
like
seeing
on the hill and
exactly,
stuff.
but here we're seeing a bunch of like BLMTs, people playing music. So yeah, I mean, it just felt very Black. I know it's sort of shocking city, but you don't typically see that until you go, to certain parts of the city.
Not just necessarily the monuments and things like that. You're usually seeing people kind of running around, getting their whole kind of, House of Cards scene kind of going on.
Yeah.
They're in that ecosystem in some sense. So that was beautiful. But yeah, what I'll say that I kind of noticed that was different from my times being here, and I think you had said that that wasn't something that was noticed for you, but I felt like things were a lot more locked down. And I mean, I guess I get it, from the element of like the looting and stuff like that and the protests that were going on, stuff being destroyed. But I will say, like, just under this regime, I kind of felt a little bit different under this presidency. Like, I've never been that far away from the White House before. Like, I think I've actually been on the fence, like my times, like going to the White House and stuff like that. Like we were a good half a mile away. The fences and all that around all of these things were like, we were a half a mile away from the White House. Like where I was just, I don't know, which I think they've been experiencing threats as well,
Surely, yeah.
People driving on the yard and through fences and all of that stuff. But
yeah.
It was just, it definitely felt a little bit different from that sense where, all of this stuff is historically stuff that it's just easy to get to and accessible because this is our land, you know what I'm saying? And this is the city, this is the district, But yeah, so that was a major difference. But we didn't end up marching, sorry about that. I really wanted that take on that, but we didn't end up marching because we needed to go ahead and get some food and stuff. And when we slid into like the little spot, grabbed some wings and pizza, it was all on TV, which I knew it was all gonna be, but it felt so close to me. You just didn't feel like it was just on some super national stuff. Like, you're seeing people who can be your uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, just out here like, hey, how you doing? Young man, and just all of this. Are you good? Like, are you feeling it? You taking it all in? So it was just an extremely beautiful experience. And I know we keep touching on that, keep saying that, but it was just something powerful and something that really, it's going to be a lifetime treasure to me.
Yeah.
And shout out to Spike and the movie Get on the Bus. I've watched that a few times over the last couple months or so. Shout out to Netflix, they dropped that. But it definitely gave me a more personable piece to that or feel to that movie. Like just with our trek and everything we had going on throughout the weekend, like y'all know I've been doing a lot of like little like bits of work here and there, especially with the brand and stuff. So it was like, man, this is so cool, dog. Like, this is so cool. But yeah, so that was essentially, you know what I'm saying, the march and everything for us. I think we've seen the Black Lives Matter in front of the White House. That was awesome. Just kind of slid, like, fell into that, and got some really good pics and flicks of that. that was amazing. That was beautiful to see that leading right into the White House, Black
Right.
Lives Matter, you know, which I think it was defaced like maybe a couple weeks or so or a month or so. And you could kind of see it a bit on there, but it was back in full effect, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that area is what I don't know what side the Rose Garden is on. That is one thing that I kind of wanted to that I meant to check out. I just wanted to see the path that, you know, at that particular morning where Trump walked from the White House to the Rose Garden, and folks were getting tear gas and things like that. I just wanted to like get the perspective.
You're right.
of where
You're
it was.
right. Of
It was
what
somewhere around there, but we
when
were
you
still
walked
entire
to the church and all of that
right,
stuff,
and they
right?
was just they were just gassing people to get them out of the way, like that whole area. They were just gassing people.
Yeah.
It would have been cool just
That
to
was-
see,
that was-
just to
that was
get more
tragic. That's
perspective.
very
But
terrible. Yeah. Yeah, man, it would have been cool to see that now that you say that.
Yeah.
We're in the city where there's just so much stuff to kind of see, but that would have been really amazing to see. I'm sure we kind of walked past it because we did like almost a loop around,
yeah,
for real.
yeah.
You know, just looking for a restroom and all of that afterwards. After we got left kind of the you know, from behind all of the stuff, left them all. What was DC like for you your first time around, fam? Like, tell these folks about our first night here. Welcome to
man,
DC, fam.
Well, we went down to was it 14th and U.
Yeah, 14th and
And
you.
I mean, man, we're standing outside, and a guy gets out of his car. I mean, I'm thinking maybe he worked for Uber Eats or something like that. You know, he was going into the subway to grab some food or something. Left his car on, and seen two dudes in the car pull up. They saw that he had got out his car and went in and left his car on.
And it was right after one of our friends said,
Yeah.
yo, do not bring your nice car over here. Like, make sure you know, you guys are in the city, so make sure you're Ubering and all of that because, you know, something will happen to your whip or something. It was literally less than like 20 minutes after like having that talk with us.
They pulled right up, saw him go in, hopped out.
New Jersey drive this shit.
Man, got in his car, skirted off.
And he like right before he had grabbed the subway door to go grab his food or whatever, he just did that quick glance back and it was like, no. And then Brandon's like, what the hell is going on over here? Because I'm trying to catch up with Trav because we're meeting him at a bar and I just seen all of this out of my peripherals and I just turned to fam and I was like, yo, like welcome to DC, fam. It can get wild out here. I know I've had a couple Uber drivers and just drivers from time to time when I get picked up from the airport and they're just like, yo, I wouldn't be able to drop you off over here 20 minutes ago. I mean, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, because it was just so infested and, you know, whatever. So yeah, that was crazy, man. We actually didn't do too much. I think we're kind of getting old now, man.
yeah, no, someone just asked it like, because we didn't even really technically go out. Like we really just kicked it at the.
I mean, but I think if we would have had more time or you know, being with the pandemic, if you know stuff would have been open, we probably would have been, you know what I mean? But especially, you know, with everything going on this weekend, you know, a lot of roads were you know, blocked off and stuff like that. So it wasn't as easy to maneuver around.
You know? It was not. And then there was like, you know, with the influx of people in town, like it was hard to get rides certain places and things like that. And we had a cool enough spot and drinks and everything when we finally got things stocked up right. That it was kind of just cool chilling in our own element too, for real.
That's the way, man. Boys in the 30s. That's the way. Get you a little group to chill at the crib. Get some drinks, man. Play some Monica.
Keep yourself.
Some Monica and Brandy.
We did have the pre-versus battle.
Karaoke night, you know.
Yeah, Trav said, let's just let the ladies.
It was I mean, it was a good experience though, man. Like I said, I mean, I'll definitely be back here to try to, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
See everything. You really need a day just to look at everything. Then you need to, when you plan the African American joint, you need to plan out that half day of just anger when you leave it, bro. It's like your mood has changed, bro. You gotta set up a self-care day right after that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Boys leave hot. No, that's a good experience, man. There's a lot of those museums, so I think a lot of Smithsonian's are starting to open back up. So yeah, you plan out like a whole day of just hitting the laps around there, like seeing the different monuments, kind of the area that we were at, and then hitting a couple museums.
What's some of the stuff you kind of recommend for people to see out here, Trav, when they come out here?
Honestly, I think everything in the area we were in.
White House.
Yeah, White House, looking at the Washington Monument. I personally, I like going to the museums, so planning those out. A lot of them are heavy. Again, it's really, you know, the Jewish history. I don't know
Yeah.
the exact name of the museum. I think it's the Holocaust Museum.
Yep.
So something like that is,
So,
you know, but again, you know, it is going to change your mood, but it's one of those things you got to educate yourself and, you know, go.
Yeah.
So
Educate to elevate.
Yeah. Any of those, man, I would say like DC is the land of brunch. So find you a good brunch spot and then pick like 2-3 museums, you know, to hit, and then
Wear some good walking shoes, because
Yeah.
I'll do a lot of walking.
A lot of walking, boy. A lot of walking, man. So I would have to say, what was your most favorite thing that you had seen monument-wise, or what was some of the things that was your favorite out here, Brandon? You know, just
Awesome.
maybe eye-opening, inspiring.
I mean, the Lincoln Memorial. I mean, it was, you know, I've always seen pictures and stuff like that, but just going in there, you know what I mean, and seeing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then it's huge too.
Yeah.
What does
right?
the inside
Yeah,
look like? I don't
like-
think I've ever been inside.
Oh, you
What's ins-
haven't?
I don't think so. Wait. No, I mean, what's
I
inside? I don't
thought
know. I've been on the
it's
steps.
You know, it's the Lincoln joint in there. It's the
Where
big
you sit in the
statue
chair?
of Lincoln.
Oh,
You
I
sit
thought
in
it was
the
up
chair.
top. I thought
It
that
is.
was
It
up
is.
top.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the Lincoln. That's the Lincoln Memorial. That
Right,
is.
right, right.
So
I'm just saying when you go inside, what else is in
Oh,
there?
and that they have the thing under where, you know, where the
like the
is.
elevator, there's like a where we were trying to get up to.
Right,
that
to the actual
is down there, and that's like a whole little
Collage,
like
of pictures and, you know,
yeah,
just
it's like,
history. And,
yeah, a little
Okay,
history. It's
okay.
kind of like a little
So you said
gift
they.
shop museum.
Okay,
like
I have
down
been in
there
there. Then. I have
of
been in
the
there. Okay,
memorial.
okay, I have been
Yeah.
in there.
Oh,
what do they?
you,
So what do they?
You have been up top.
I've been up there, yeah.
But
So
you
they
haven't
have
been
the.
downstairs. Okay,
Right.
that was my first time
Yeah.
downstairs as well.
So
yeah.
going up top is obviously cool too for people that haven't been there, because they mark off, you know, the place where MLK was standing. He gave a speech. And
Yeah,
they
you
marked
can
out,
actually
so-
stand right on that
Yeah,
joint.
so you definitely get that energy. Yeah. So what ended up happening? What did they stop y'all? Because I was like further
at the
back.
elevator.
Okay.
Yeah, when we got at the and then they didn't even really stop. We fiddled around for about 10, 15
Yeah, I
minutes
think
in
after
there,
we went up there.
just trying to get what the vibe was. Like, do we need credentials to get on this elevator?
Yeah.
And they were just letting random people. We seen about 20 people, like not all at once. They were keeping the social distance. That was like a thing, like for real. You
Bro,
know?
if we
they had like police with the
if we had a little more,
orange-
because we didn't miss Al by that much. I think he started speaking like 30 minutes after we left. Less than 30 minutes, because by the time when we sat down, he was already
Sat
up
down
there.
to eat, yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
if we could have been in that section, because you saw it was hype. Like once it was, it really felt like a festival. So by the time
Yeah.
Al was up there, he had the families around him. People was up there. Yeah, like I heard he had
It was
to.
clean.
I heard he low key had to tell the crowd to like shut up or something. I don't know what
Like,
happened.
chill, to kinda
I don't
chill
know what
so they
happened.
could-
Yeah, because somebody
yeah.
was like, yo, somebody was telling me like, hey, this looks like. It looks really unorganized, I guess, when he was up there. I don't know what was happening. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of passion and stuff, but we would have had crazy seats, you know what I mean? Like,
We definitely, had he started speaking while we were there, I mean, we definitely wouldn't have been worried about eating. And
Yeah.
we probably would have forgot all about that. We would have just kind of been in
Yeah,
the moment. But
I'm a
Boys
big
couldn't
deal.
make it.
I was the pessimist
Boys
in that
couldn't
sense.
make it.
I was like, because y'all was pretty much like,
Bro,
I mean, it's
nah, it
whatever.
was-
No, you was ready to go
Yeah,
too.
it
You was
was-
like, my arms going out.
bro, it literally was. I really thought I was gonna pass out at one point. Weird,
Yeah.
yeah, body started doing some weird shit. My arm was going numb, my legs felt heavy. So, and I had more drinks than y'all, because when I first split and went to look for the bathroom, I went around the back way, grabbed a bunch of water. So I planned to bring them to y'all, and then
Yeah.
end up drinking a bunch of them. So y'all made it on less than me.
I thought y'all were buying those, and then the
Nah.
refreshment stand was
That was
500 people
long.
long.
Yeah, that
I
was
was like,
long.
bro, like
Yeah.
it just started to just
Nah.
frustrate me a little bit, and nothing really wrong with the organization of the event or anything like that. It was just that was what it was. I've been to plenty of festivals and events like such, but it was just more or less the night before and then coming into it the morning of, trying to get there so early. I hadn't been prepared. I didn't have like hella waters in a bag.
Yeah.
I didn't have a blanket to sit on. Like we're sitting on sign. Like we was out there thugging. Like we were really with the movement. You know what I'm saying?
See, but those are things that you know, next time whenever we do something like that, you know what I mean?
Bro, I'll bring a whole ass cooler out there.
Yeah,
But
cooler
you
with
don't want
snacks,
to
everything.
travel heavy, because that's more stuff you got to carry around. But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, so
Yeah.
it's you know,
It's a catch-22 in a sense.
I'll
But I
grab
mean,
one
we
of
would have
those
definitely
buggies.
did that.
Yeah.
Because we knew we was gonna be out there till almost 5. Because on some real stuff, I said we probably left at like 1:30, but when we actually kind of left and got towards like the Smithsonian,
like 2:30.
yeah, it had to have been like 2 or 2:30 because we were sitting down and eating at about 3:15 ish.
Mm.
So we did that, man. Like we really did.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I forgot where I was going with all of that, but yeah, man, that was a beautiful occasion. Segueing into our next little joint that we had going on this weekend, we did a shoot. Me and my cousin Travis was supposed to tap in, but the boys Taylor just couldn't come through for him. He had about 3 or 4 suits hanging up, and they just couldn't get him right when he needed to. He's got one of them cats who's got like a backlog of, you know, weddings and you know what I'm saying, model type cats coming through to get tailored up. You know what I'm saying?
Relax. I couldn't grab a suit, man. I didn't have time to grab a suit. It was a busy
Yeah.
week.
So the joint was really they had a thing where it was the colors of the Black Lives Matter flag, right? Like red, black, and green. And those were supposed to be the suits. I mean, we had some cats who came out and had, you know, blue and gray suits as well. And I mean, you could really wear whatever you want. I seen a cat in a cream suit and stuff. But I think really to kind of stand out, you had to, from my perspective, because I mean, I'm like Ranch, baby. I be dressing. You know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck out of here.
No, but you had to. I think because I've done a couple shoots before. You know, shout out to DeAndre again. We had he's had a couple joints that went viral. He's out of Dallas, Texas, but he's been all over the country, and he recently just dropped his it's BM Co. I think suit line, and those suits are fresh, super fresh. He's got a couple commercials and promo videos out there, and yeah, so he does these movements where he's trying to change the narrative, just like myself, you know. Just change the look of what it's been for black men, you know, when they're posting pictures of us, if we're, you know, in trouble for something or getting killed or not in trouble, you know, it's always like some negative stuff, like, you know, negative connotation behind it, whether it be some pictures or some the wording behind it, you know what I'm saying, when it comes with us. He wants us out there in suits, you know what I'm saying. It was like 100+ degrees. We actually lost a brother, like I think he kind of like passed out. You know?
Shit.
Yeah.
But he didn't look like he was in the best of shape and stuff, and he had like all black, like he just, it was bad. But we were out there like models too. Like I can only imagine, you know, over the time that certain models have to spend doing shoots and all of that stuff. You know, we weren't out there about 2.5 hours, but it was hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, being in that heat with that suit on.
And then
So what they do? How'd they keep it organized? Like how did everything flow?
So things started to, so this is, once again, shout out to Black Men's, where they have shoots and things like this, and this mug is going to be really powerful when it drops. You know, he was having people sign NDAs and everything, you know what I mean? Like there just couldn't really be other people outside of our group that had professional cameras and could be shooting. And I think he also had some sponsors along with that as well. He had the Henry, he had given us all like our own face masks, you know, with the kente cloth on them and stuff like that. But
that's dope.
There'd be you'd be split up by groups. Essentially, I think the biggest group that had came was like the Reds. It was the Reds, and I was obviously the flyest nigga in red. But
no, y'all did look good, man.
Yeah,
y'all definitely got booted.
Yeah, so fam was holding it down with the black. You know what I'm saying? But they had the group of black as well, which I think may have been the smallest. Was it?
Well, no, I was with the green, kind of like we
were you?
Yeah, they had us go with, because it was me and the other guy. They split the red up into like a solid, solids over here, solid red, and then like pattern. It was me and the other guy. We had the, you know, kind of red pattern. Yeah. So they took us around to the, you know, the backside of the memorial with the greens, and we just, you know.
Yeah, because it was all shot at the Lincoln Memorial. Shout out to that. We had the shoot, and we kind of started out in front of the water. You know, the pictures were facing the actual. What is the monument called?
The Washington
that goes
Monument?
to a point.
Yeah, Washington.
Yes, the Washington Monument. Wow, that's ridiculous. I can't believe I just got that right there. But so we took pictures. The pictures are facing that way, and we took a lot of them in front of the water. And it was like my fam said, it was broken up by like the red, the green, and the black. So the Reds, I think, were the biggest group. Yeah, the Reds were the biggest group. There was a cat out there in like a sequin red joint. There were a couple cats. I don't know if maybe pimping or something like.
And the cane.
Is something here or something, but it was a lot of cats with like canes and like, you know, just these real flamboyant but very dapper suits.
Yeah. What was the age range out there?
I would probably have to say the age range was it was from, we had a group of little boys again, because if y'all have seen the photo that went viral with them about a couple years ago, starring me and the little guy. No, I'm just kidding. I was definitely in the mix, but I was I didn't do my little Yachty. Y'all know, little Yachty blew up from being Yeezy season 3 when it was like he was already kind of like in line with QC and all of them, but he was like one of the models. And one of the things that sticks with me whenever I'm doing something now or trying to promote my brand or my podcast, since that time that picture actually blew up, which I didn't think was going to be a huge thing, is like Yachty was like, I got red hair, put me in the front. And just him saying that, somebody's kind of like, you know, and in his head, he was like, regardless if they was going to let me or not, I was still going to get to the front. So with everything, when y'all see these pictures drop, you're going to be like, all right, there's Lance right there. And I was leaving fam too. I know he's probably like, dang man, where you going? But I was hopping in the front or trying to be in the mix, you know, just to not, it ain't even on just the being seen thing, but I mean, I know who I am and what type of weight I carry. But the ages were, I would probably say we had about 3 or 4 little boys. They were probably approximately maybe 8 to about 10, 11, or 12. And then from about probably 20, 18 years old to about 80. You know what I'm saying? And the numbers looked, it had to be, I think they had said that people had registered, about 300 people had registered.
Nice.
I think that heat may have had some people kind of like tap out. But they had about 300 people registered, and yeah, there were definitely 250 plus men out there, you know, and we took over that mall. Like there was, you know, obviously the numbers weren't like the day before Friday, but Saturday definitely had, you know, outside of us, before we got there, there were probably 200, 300, 400 people already kind of out there taking pictures, working out, and protesting. Oh yeah, shout out to Black Lives Matter, man. They had some people on the steps the whole time we were out there, and before and after. You know, the cat turned around with his big what are those called? What is the thing called that you speak in? Something like that. He turns it on and he's like, yo, I just want to tell all of y'all are, what did he say, dripped? What's the, you know, y'all are saucy as hell. Like, he just, and you know, because it was one of those things, it was like, we were being kind of like, when it came to certain stuff, you know, people were trying to hustle, they're trying to sell us shirts or, you know, and we were all being very, you know, people were taking a good deal of thought and things like that when it came to people asking, hey, will you guys be involved with this, or will you guys buy this? Like, we were getting hit off with that like the whole time. We definitely were celebrity status. As soon as we pulled up, there were so many people taking out their phone, young kids, older women, black, white, like, you know, just like, wow, these men are really sharp, you know what I'm saying? And that had taken place once again on the Lincoln Memorial steps and in front of that and all around that. And yeah, so that was super dope. There were cars stopping, people honking, like, you know, even older white men like walking by, like, I just want to say hi to you guys. Like, you guys are really clean. Like, what's the movement? At one point, I think they maybe thought we were the Fruit of Islam or you know, in line with that or something, because they really thought, like, wait a minute, like, is this Malcolm X resurgence at some point or something?
Yeah, that suit is powerful, man. Lance, we need to just get back into that, bro. Just wearing, like, dressing up more. We're on like the streetwear vibe, but like bro, it just, you know, you feel different, man.
That was our college element, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm down with it. It's definitely something different. My fam posted a few pictures and stuff, and like what I really wanted to say is, like, you know, just you throw the jacket on for the special occasions, and that was really what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like when fam, like, cause fam's been like, you know, I'm wanting to make sure that everybody's having a good time, especially him, cause it's something new to him. And fam, like, after every little event or thing that we was doing, especially after that, he was like, yeah, fam, this is what was it. Cause I was actually honestly thinking about like maybe not going and skipping it at one point in time, because we were living after brunch. We were good after brunch. We were kicking it. We were turned up, like, and I was just more or less like, do I really need to do this? You know what I'm saying? But something in my head was like, nah, man, you gotta go. I want to support DeAndre, and also it was just like, stop being lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all a part of what it is that you came out here to do. So after Vam had, like, he was like, yo, that was dope. After we had been out there about 2.5 hours, sweating our suits out, like, you know what I'm saying? 20, 30, 40, 50 different poses, different groups, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, man, I'm not even getting paid for this.
Shout out to Wakanda, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Wakanda, man. You know, we got a
Black
couple of them
Panther, you
joints in, man. Yeah.
R.I.P. to the Black Panther.
Yeah, shout out, rest in heaven, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, you know, as well as a lot of the lives have been lost over the pandemic. Yeah, so I didn't want to go, but everything kind of, it was one of those, at that point when you said that to me, it was another, man, this made it all worth it, you know what I'm saying? And we got a lot of people back home in our city, as well as my city that I reside in now, just like showing so much love. My DMs just went crazy. DMs went crazy when they seen I was at the joint on Friday. And I mean, a lot of people know I travel and just try to be in the mix on so much, because I feel like crossing hands and all of this different stuff, like I'm cutting my 6 degrees of separation down to like 2 handshakes. I really can say, like, on some real stuff, like with Biden, you know, and Kamala Harris, I'm 2 handshakes away from them, like real talk. And I mean, I'm sure I'm pretty close to the guy that's in office as well too, because I work and know a lot of people within that regime also. But yeah, man, it was just it was a beautiful situation for the Black Menswear shoot. Me and fam got a lot of great pictures. There's a lot of great content out there. And then also, if you're familiar with myself, you know, like, and what I have going on as far as my Instagram and things like that, I got a lot of eclectic picturing and things that I like to do, most of them starring me. But just where I'm showing, you know, people from my hood or from back home in my town, Wichita, Kansas, something different, and you know, you can do something different and you can see things different, and this is really kind of a lot of what we need to be seeing and doing different, because we got to understand not only with what's going on with this, like not only why are they doing this or what the situation is, but where your reach can be and where your just what you can see, what you can do. Because if you don't know, you just don't know. Like, you know, I know there's some people probably out there thinking, like, if you're not in line with the president or something like that, you almost can't come to DC or something like that, you know? But yeah, so we did that shoot, man. Y'all gonna catch that drop real soon. Black Menswear, all that, yada yada. But yeah, just as far as the city and everything it kind of brought to us this weekend, it was beautiful, man. It was very beautiful. That is the best word and the best way to kind of place it. I had a lot of people of different ethnicities and races just reaching out to me. I'm proud of you and what you're doing and what you're trying to stand for. I'm feeling what the element and the temp might be and where you're going with it all. You know what I'm saying? So that's extremely beautiful, man. In y'all day-to-day lives, man, like moving forward, like did this inspire anything for y'all? Or like, I mean, I know it did within myself, you know?
Yeah.
It let me know I'm kind of like on the right track with just a lot of things in my life and like what my understandings and things like that are. I had a couple friends like, yo, do I got a place to stay if I come out there? Like, I'm about to hop on a plane now. And I'm thinking in my head, like, man, don't blow your savings or whatever you have going on. Don't do anything crazy. You can, you know, kind of see this on TV. Although, I mean, if you had it and you could have been out here or whatever,
yeah,
that was the thing to do. You know what I mean?
You know, what's interesting, I actually had a couple people hit me up and like, and I don't remember how we heard about it. We just started rapping about it at some point. It was on another trip.
Bro, Trav, we were in Dallas and you were like, bro, we're there. I was like,
I don't know. I don't remember how I found out about it, but a few people hit me up like, man, how did you know this is going down? Blah blah blah. So I think, you know, maybe should have posted more about it beforehand or something like, hey, this is coming up. Just you know. But yeah, I think overall, you know, trips like this definitely recharge your battery, right? Like, one, you see that, you know, you're not alone in whatever this fight means for you, right? I think it's easy to get in your day-to-day life and be in a bubble, right? Especially, you know, we're all working at companies where we're, you know, absolutely the minority. So you kind of are in that bubble and a lot of times aren't able to have these type of conversations on a day-to-day, right? So yeah, I think definitely just recharges your battery, lets you know that, you know, whatever this, you know, the fight, the struggle means to you, you're not alone in it. And then just trying to enact small pieces of change, man. Like, you know, there were folks. It's funny. I'm in this fantasy football group, and it's funny. It's people from Kansas. So it's like a lot of the people we used to work with at cricket. So it's like conservative white dudes from Kansas, and I can definitely even see with them the narrative start to change. Like they're starting to get it. They're starting to get why, why these things are happening, why players are walking out. So I think just, I think overall, man, it's just, because on one side, some of the individuals in that chat didn't believe in the NBA players, canceling the game, or at least postponing them, whatever it is. But it's like, dude, you got to do something, right? Like that's probably not the long-term fix, but they're taking a step back to figure it out.
We're seeing stuff where it's like, okay, we're asking for you guys to stop doing this, and then you see situations where a man's not under arrest. He does not have to, he does not have to respect anything about, like, which, fam, we've been in a couple situations like that. So the police pulled up at your crib. We had the fight night for the Pacquiao, was that about 4 or 5 years ago? And you, fam, when it comes to you're not tolerating no bullshit. Yeah. So they come to the door like, basically like, we're in here, we're coming in. You're like, no, you're not. Boom, close the door. I'll holler at y'all outside or something. Yeah. And I'm just, I'm fight night turned up. I think I slipped out a back door and like just because I get uncomfortable when the police are involved in any way with any situation.
Absolutely. Even because you never know how it's going to turn out.
Like it really is like just to highlight that feeling for all of us. Give y'all take on it. For me, like even with the security, bro, I woke up at like maybe 4 or 5 the other day and had went down at my spot and was in the gym, and like a security officer pulls up, like, and I knew what it was. Somebody called him and said, yo, we see a suspicious whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he pulls up and he like starts acting like he's taking pictures and stuff of like the gym, maybe to check in with his boss or something. And it was just like, he said what's up, and he knew what it was too. He's like, oh man, they just called me over here on this guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? But I turn my, take my pods out. I'm making direct eye contact with him because I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird. And then like going home sometimes, like the smaller towns in Kansas is kind of like, don't stop. And then I'm hearing that in Texas too. There's a lot of places where I've been on the phone hollering at people and they're like, yo, don't stop at no stoplights.
Kansas is bad, man. Like, I got pulled over more in, what was that, the 3.5 years living in Kansas.
Oh yeah, that's their thing there. That is their thing.
Like, it's crazy because I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Texas has a little more like covert racism. I feel like in Kansas, they're just like, it's all there. It's all out in the open.
Yes.
Like, I'll get pulled over.
I will give the
I remember one time I got
that,
pulled
man.
over and dude said he pulled me over because of my Kappa tags. He said that it was blocking, granted, I had Texas plates. It says Texas at the top, and it has a big ass state of Texas with a cowboy. Like everybody knows what this plate is.
Yeah.
You know what this plate is. And he was like, yeah, your tags are blocking them there. So I wanted. Long story short, I ended up being out there for an hour. This is at a time when I didn't even smoke. I'm out there for an hour. The dogs get called out there. He's looking through everything. Yeah, bro. It was like definitely one of those helpless feelings, you know what I mean? And like I was freaking out, I'm like, do I record?
Yeah, because you're all at the mercy of all of that.
Exactly.
And then you're like, I don't want to really alienate the situation.
Exactly.
Like, let me send a couple texts real quick and let everybody know where I am. But it's just so different being pulled over because I know there are people within this country who can have interactions with the police and they can feel all fine and dandy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you are a black man and you are in any type of contact with authority of law type degree, it's not a good feeling. They get real overly exert myself, you know what I'm saying, and let this man know I'm the dominant one type. Like, you can be the coolest cat in the world, you know what I'm saying? And it gets real ugly sometimes. But that's what we were here for this weekend. And I feel like, bless their heart, to some of these cats out here because from both sides of it, like, people just don't know. They don't know what it feels like to be us, and we don't know what it feels like to be them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we ain't out here to hurt nobody. We ain't out here to scare nobody. Like we just out here to live. And we want to keep living. So that's what it is. But yeah, man. So this was the race, man. We tapped in here for a little second. Just with everything going on, like y'all really do y'all want to leave anybody with anything, or this is the first episode of the second season, so
I'll leave with this. I mean, like I said earlier, there's power in numbers, you know what I mean, and we as the black community, we have to come together and stop mugging each other when we're walking by, or you know what I mean. We have to uplift each other, and hey man, how you doing? Or is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah, for sure.
Be a big brother, or be, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Be a role model and show our younger generation of black kids how to be men, how to be women, how to be, how to carry
For
themselves.
Sure. For sure.
And I mean, respect ourselves. You know what I mean. We have to carry ourselves in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
And to a higher standard or degree.
I mean,
yeah.
and it might not change the
stand
way
on
that we're viewed, but
if we doing that, it's gonna see.
I mean,
it's gonna command that
exactly.
respect. And I'll definitely touch on that as well. Like how I was about to say earlier, like in Kansas, like I mean, a lot of people don't know, but it do like just be straight up racist stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it's just like you're not wanted here. We don't have anything for you. Like it just that is what it is. But in Dallas or in Texas, I never expect. And I've been all over, but just actually living somewhere different and it being in the South and being a capital state or a capital city of like the South, like it. It's wild how that racism is because it's almost like they definitely can deal with us and they like can understand and maybe it's because there's more minority influence in these places, but it's like their racism is different. I can't even really explain it. It's kind of like, I know I'm gonna be next to a person of ethnicity about 20, 30, 40% of the time.
Yep.
So, yeah. So,
yeah, I give you
but
something.
yeah, it's all been golden, man. It's been extremely golden. Trav, do you want to kind of, leave us with anything? Shout out to Refine Rebellion
It's
with
the
new drop.
House of Rebellion now.
The House of Rebellion. Sorry, I didn't. When you get you a house, man, that's a whole different type of level, man. So yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, check the House of Rebellion, man. We just dropped a capsule titled Power. It's got 3 pieces. Been getting a lot of good feedback on those. So Instagram at the House of Rebellion. I think the other thing is top of mind is, man, just for all of us, just continue to educate ourselves, right? Look into what's happening with the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Look into the Senator John Lewis Voter Rights Act. Just continue. Like I have to read more into it. Figure out. I think we all have. I think we all have power in different ways. And I think it's a lot of times it's trying to figure out where you can apply pressure, where you can help. A lot of times these things happen. You feel kind of helpless and like you're not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all could do more, but I think it's just figuring out where you can apply pressure, whether it be locally or just using the power of votes, just wherever, just figuring out like where you can educate yourself and figuring out where you can apply pressure. So yeah, I think that's kind of the takeaway for me.
Yeah, and then I guess just kind of to take to do it for me. We just kind of need to make sure within this election year we're reaping the benefit or putting in our just application for what should be ours and rightfully ours. These are times where to get our vote, you know what I'm saying, you can demand things. You can call your aldermans or your representatives and let them know, or do email blasts or signature signups and things like that to ensure that we are getting our if it's monetary funding, for back home, the Lynette Woodard Center and things like that. Like these are businesses and things that can thrive and can do their just part within our communities. But we got to make sure we're applying ourselves. Shout out to the presidential race that shall take place here soon. It's already up and running and kicking, but here in September, am I right? Like that's when we voting. To change some things. I do know from a business perspective, Trump has done a lot of great things for us, but I do feel as if though, money and all of that are not always the most important things. I feel like, a lot of the unity that we have developed over the last 20, 30 years has been unraveled, unwoven, where I think just as far as being an American in certain places, that is our fabric. This is the melting pot. This is the conglomerate or superpower of the world. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we were just in San Francisco not too long ago, heavy Asian influence out there, and then just of course being in LA, and in Texas and stuff, the Hispanic or Latin or African American influences that are there, born and raised Kansas and all these things. Like, just make sure we're getting out and getting our boats up, our winds up, and if you know if you want to take a part in any of this fight, you do have a part in it or a place to be played. So just to kind of end this here, you know, shout out to Diamond Cut Athletics as well, my boy A Jizzle. You know what I'm saying? He just had a new drop as well. Y'all know I'm usually it's either refined or Diamond Cut Athletics or some other real cool hip joint that I'm in. But that's usually what I'm rocking.
Buy black.
Yeah,
as much as possible.
Yeah, buy black as much as possible, man. Support black business. We need our economic commerce to become more and more developed. And those are some things also, you know, you can ask for, you know, with this new presidential race, you know. Yeah, I try to keep this as, you know, middle ground as possible, but, you know, some of my influence and things like that do kind of sway to different sides of the radar. So, yeah, man, just to kind of end this, man, yeah, just put your work in, man. Put your work in. Whether it be, you don't gotta go grab the encyclopedia or, you know, write papers or theses on this, or be able to just make sure you know what's going on out here. This is a time of enlightenment. They're saying this is like the Black Renaissance all over again. And it's funny is I noticed it in my head, you know, just from the readings and the literature and things like that are going on, and just the influence and you know, the women's movement as well. Shout out to that. It's just all a beautiful thing, man. It's extremely beautiful, and like just will help you feel so good to just be involved with what's going on with the world. And yeah, just that's it, man. This is the race, and we are now tuning out. Shout out to y'all, man, and much love with this next season going on. Be on the lookout for it.
Appreciate you.